Okay, so this is finally the second video on the King series. I'm using the Hollywood footage. The link will be in the description. The footage is not like extremely high quality. It will pixelate a little bit, but it's good for you to test solutions and techniques. So I think it's worth it. And it's totally free to use. You can download it. There is no like copyright issues or anything like that. So this is slightly more complicated than the previous one with motion blur. It's a different case here. So what's the how's the we should approach a shot like this? So first, let's set the view here. So I usually use 3 on the keyboard for the plate. So every time it doesn't matter where I am in the script. If I have like a very big script, it doesn't really matter. If you hit 3, you'll always see the plate. If I hit 2, it will always be the result. Down on the script, all the way down. In this case, it's a very small script, but 2 will be the very, very last result. And 1 is where I am working right now. So if this is just a suggestion, you can use however you want. I find this one to be very intuitive to me because of the positions we have our hands on the keyboard. So 3 is the plate, 2 it's a result, 1 what I'm doing right now. And we can have, usually on the studio, I have 5 as my last render. So I can easily compare my last render with 5 and 2 with my newest result, my current result. And sometimes I have 4 as a reference. If the supervisor, if the client sends you a reference, I have 4 as a reference. That's just a tip, because the series is also it's also about how juniors especially can improve their work and be kind of pointing into the direction of becoming a senior and then a lead. What kind of things I like to see when I grab a script from a junior. And when you have a interactive session with a junior, and he is quickly switching, and then you are speaking with him, and you ask him, "Can I see the plate again? Show me the plate. Show me the result." So he's quickly switching like this. It shows that he has the views nicely organized. This is good because it makes you feel more comfortable with this tuner if you can give him better tasks. You will not get lost and this kind of stuff. Organization is very, very important. All right. So what's the approach of this one? So the green screen itself, it may look like very good. It's not bad, but it's really, really, really strong. Like the light is really, really, really strong. So you can see, stick a paint here. Okay. You can stick, you can see here, get a color. So this section here is slightly darker than this one. And this is also slightly darker than this one. But overall, it's very, very, very bright and like the light is very, very, very strong. So usually, if you have a supervisor on the set, if you are the supervisor on the set, or if the client has a supervisor on the set, they will try to make the light as they imagine it should be the final result. So they will not be lighting like a flat green screen, because it doesn't make sense. If you don't have like this, she has this nice light here on her, but on this side, so you can guess there's a light here somewhere outside of the screen, like here. There will be like a light source here. There is also a little one here. As you can see that she has some bright areas here. But there will also be a little one here, but less strong. And they're all pointing at the middle. So that's why the center of this is slightly brighter than what's outside. That's fine. That's okay. But keep in mind, the light is how the desire, the talent to be at the end, and the light is not made for you to key. So very often, very often, you have strong gradients like this, or you even have like a green screen that ends here, and this is like a shade of green, like a darker green, and then there's another one green screen kind of behind this one that goes until here, for example, and this one will be a completely different green, and that very often happens. So green screen brings this kind of a situation very often. Oh, in this case, we have all other kinds of problems. So as you can see, the light is so strong, it's contaminating too much. It's bouncing on the green stuff and contaminating the hair a lot. This happens when the light is too strong. If the idea is to have like a very bright background behind, that's fine. But sometimes you find that that's not exactly the idea. And sometimes they have to shoot stuff quickly, and so we need to be able to pull the key without a problem. Or than this situation and this situation, we have a fabric, like a half transparent stuff. This is more transparent than this, and then right in the middle of where it's too bright, we have an even more transparent area here. So this kind of stuff. So this will touch on I had a question while ago on a video, I believe on the first Despill video, asking me to make a video with where you don't use many masks to follow the focus. And that's absolutely impossible. There is no way you will key an image without masking. That's only if you have like a flying object. If they shot on a studio against a green screen, like I don't know, like a football flying, and then yes, and then the whole stuff is a mega motion blur. Everything is motion blur. You don't have a mask. You may even have to make a mask around it like this to isolate. Maybe it's too noisy outside. Who knows? But that's not how it works. The goal of keying and learning different techniques is to deliver the best result. It's not to make it faster. It's not to make it quicker. Although, with years and years of experience, you will make it faster. You will deliver a good result faster. If you have like several solutions that you understand how to use, you will deliver faster, but not necessarily like one click. That's not how it is. Okay. So, and why I spent some time speaking about the plate itself. It's very important for a junior, even a senior. There are many seniors that don't have a photographic way of looking at things, and that's fine. But I find it very useful to be able to look at the plate and guess things and see, okay, there's a light coming from this area. It will give you an overall better solution on how to approach the shot. It will make you a more complete compositor if you have photographic eye, and you can do that by going to the shoots. You can ask. I did a lot of this in the past, and it was very important for me to see how they work, how is the mentality in the set. There's a lot of time time focus, so they need to do everything very quick. So you need to be quickly able to answer stuff. If the photographer tells you, is this okay for you, the light? And if you say yes, it means that he will put all the talents with this light and you will not have time to change your mind. So the answers need to be, like on the tip of your tongue. And how can you get this kind of experience? I recommend just buying a camera, photo camera. You can buy, nowadays you can buy a very cheap digital camera to learn what aperture is, what shutter speed is, and it will probably come with a default 50mm lens in the kit, and that is awesome. So you go out and then you shoot and then you see the results, what happens. It's digital, you don't have to spend money developing film. So you can experiment a lot, and then you will understand why they shoot most of the stuff at f-stop of 4, f-stop 5.6. Why? And you will understand why they shoot with such frame shutter speed or not, and why motion blur is the default motion blur is 0.5 for shutter speed. So photography will improve your way of comping stuff. You will also understand that if she has this level of the focus, see, she's not super sharp. The focus here is a little bit off, like tiny little bit off. But right, even let's say this is the focus, a little bit behind, which is the hair, it's already more out of focus. So this shows that we have a aperture, like a fast aperture. So the depth of field is shallow. So whatever you put behind her will be slightly more the focus, and this kind of stuff. So you will immediately present the supervisor or the lead or senior something that is more closely related to photographic reality. So highly recommend. When you do that, when you get your hands on a digital camera and starting shooting, and then you will see why my photos are not as good as this other person on Instagram. Why is that? And they don't use any fancy LUTs. And even if they put a fancy LUT, if you put a fancy LUT on a bad photo, it will only make a bad photo with a weird color. And then you start to realize what makes it better, and it's not having the camera on full automatic. And yeah, so this is a journey, and eventually this will improve your photographic eye a lot. But all right. Okay, so after you inspect the footage, you can key it, and you can start the key. Let me do one here, so to show you guys. So we know it's green. Let's pick the green. So the first thing I always do is to have a look at how the footage is reacting. So you stick a gizmo there and pick and have a look. You don't touch anything. See if the result is noisy. It's a little bit noisy, as you can see, but the hairs are coming, so that's not bad. It's cropping here, which is it can give you some weird edge situation. There's some anti-aliasing happening here. There's some noise in the shadows, and this is because of compression. Probably they uploaded this a very low resolution, so that's normal. All right, so you know what you can expect. IBQ color. I'm going to do one, and then I show you guys what happens. So this is the default. And why this is not good, and why I decided to do it like this. Because we know, as we inspected the footage before, we have a lot of differences. We have a lot of shades of green, a gradient. So the idea is to get like the green that's kind of like the purest green. So no contamination, no skin color. So if you remove all the stuff, you get something like this. And maybe it's even less than I get before. So as soon as you get one that you have just green, you can do the stacking technique. That's how I do it. I'm sure there are several ways of doing stuff. Nuke can be used. You can have the same result doing things in a different way. So you have a different solution. That's also good. So the road is for you to remove a tiny little bit of something that you are not happy. You usually put one, and then you can push back, which is just basically growing the texture. I don't grow it like crazy a lot, as you can see here. The same. I am not eroding anything because I'm happy with the texture. The same. Done. You have some difference here. Almost always I blur it, so I have a more diffuse green plate. Then you just stick the gizmo guy there. There you go. And then you see clearly what I was saying before. We have shades of green in the background. That's fine. The result is not so bad. So we have a lot of details on this semi-transparent thing here, this fabric, which is what we want. But as I said before, and this is a very, very small solution. When keying, you will not have one click, you have several ones. So I'm using the same green screen here with another IBQ with a different setting. See, the softer one, so it feels more the inside. And then I have grade just to kill it. This one I have a grade just to kill a little bit of the bright stuff here. I have another one here, stronger, because I need just the core. This is for the core. I always stick a key light there just to see what happens on the key light. And this is for me to get this how does it call? Like when the fabric goes on top of itself, see? And some of the core of the hair. So you just max it on top. You max it because you don't want to add values. You don't want to raise the values. I want it to max. So it will only add values where they are lower. See, do not make these like even brighter kind of stuff. And this is for the core. So for the core, I did a lazy solution. You guys can do a proper one. So I did a smart vector. I have a roto and a vector distort that will roughly follow her. I think I had like a couple keyframes. Yeah, a couple keyframes. So this is my mask, and this is my core, right? Okay. And then, well, we are missing all the cool hair that we saw before on the footage, right? I'm missing all of the stuff. And so what I usually do in this case, I just grab this color here, this green, minus the plate. See how the gradient of where this is the green color we are looking for is very, very, very small. But that's fine. We are looking for this here. Then I just use an expression to move these channels to the alpha channel, right? Then I grade it a tiny little bit, even, not really. So, okay, so this is not even used. Fine. Then I channel merge this here. We adds all the cool hair back. Nice. We can do other one here, that's fine. Let's do it now. Get this. If you hold shift and control, you get an average. See, it's slightly darker. Let's minus this guy on the plate again. Yeah. If you want to shift the gradient up or down, you can stick a grade here, and then you see what I'm doing here. I'm pushing the difference up a little bit. Oh, see, nice. So the gradient that used to be basically here inside of the hair somehow, push it up a little bit. Fine. Use the same expression, which is just RGB, R plus B plus G. And this goes to the alpha channel. Beautiful. I can have, this is a actually excellent key of the hair. All right, let's add this guy together. And then I'm gonna max this guy. Ah, no, the a different way. But the way I organize it here, it comes only on this mask, so that's fine. This guy here. Reorganize this a little bit so it's not a mega mess. Right. This guy here. Okay. Here, this one we add the hair on the left side, and this one change the mask on the other side. Soft. All right. And then you have some crazy bounding box because of the masks. Kill them. Then you have the alpha. Pretty good one. Okay, so for the Despill side, I did exactly the same as I did on the previous tutorial. So if you guys want to go there and see in detail, you can do that. I'm gonna just go faster here. You need to have a look when you are doing the Despill. You need to have a look at the plate. This is the plate. There's some stuff I generated on Midjourney just for this exercise. And this is just a crazy color to make it a bit more, complicated. And as we saw before, I believe this background would be a bit the focus. So I did the key light, which is, as you guys saw, is just 1 on the green. So we have a good start. You get this color that you put here out. You saturate, you link the saturation to 0 here. You minus the key light result from the plate. So you have a green, basically a green mask of the Despill. It's the same saturation we use on the green guy here. Then and then you can divide it by the color of the background, similar color, and use the same masks I did before for her, for it internally. This is the other option. So you multiply this by the result of this. And then you plus it on top of the key light result again. So you are contaminating the hair that was before contaminated with green. You're contaminating it with the color that you used here. Because of the background, you see there's a purple background. Let's try purple color. There's a grade node here for you to adjust the things, details, and you plus this on top of the key light, then you stick it off of there, stick this on top. That's it. Good. This guy here. If I remove this guy, I will have what it's called, can be called, let me kill this guy as well, like a flat Despill, which can be useful, but cases like this, in a lot of cases, frankly, this will not be useful. So what you want is a Despill that brings the plate closer to the background. So first, let's do the pink thing. If I remove the gray, you will see that I have a very, very contaminated green. There. See, it's too strong. See, in this case, it will only work if you have a very bright background. And then it starts to work. See if you can even go higher. See, it's a mega bright. All right, cool. But that's not what we want. So I need a grade to push it down. So it was here. See where the hair is blending nicely. Something around here. Okay, cool. But we don't want the fabric to be contaminated by this. We want it to contaminate, to keep it more blue. And this is like a subjective thing. Your supervisor or lead may say, no, because we have a look dev approved by the client, and we want to see more purple coming from here, or he may want it like this because of some other shot continuity, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you pick the color that was on the key light, just I explained it on the previous video. Zero saturation, so you have like a luminance. This is all happening on the luminance stage. This is luminance. And then we divide this color, by the background color, and then we alt it with the color you want the fabric to be contaminated by, and you multiply this on top of your minus your Despill mask, which is the key light result minus plate with no saturation. So you multiply here, and then you take this result and you plus it on top of the key light, which is your basic Despill, very basic one, right? And then when you add this, then it has to work. There's no, because it's mathematics, it has to work. Another solution, you can extrapolate this. It may be useful in shots like this, but in some, I don't know, I think this will not be useful in a lot of shots, but let me show you the idea. If you have this representing the color scheme of your background, and I'm very focused on the hair here, what's happening on the background around her hair here. This kind of color here. It needs to be a bit darker so the hair is visible. And this is also subjective. The supervisor may say, no, we don't want to see it that much. So, and then you have to split it. Left side is working well. See? Like here. But this one, no. And then you have to add a mask here, separate, and have two kind of contaminations for the hair. But let's do one for both of them, darker solution. So if this is representing the background color, you can also use the background itself, right? So you divide it by the same stuff we are doing here, but using the background itself. Stick it here. And you see, the background is already there on the plate, yeah, because you are multiplying it by the Despill mask and plusing it on top of the key light. It also works, and then you can control here how much of the hair If you make the background darker, you see more of the hair. If you make the background brighter, the hair will be more like invaded by the background color, which kind of is how in a photography this will work. This would work like this. Photography. If you have a bright something behind, this bright something will invade hair and semi-transparent stuff. See? Yeah. So this, but this kind of stuff will not work on all the cases. So, and this represents very closely what's happening here. We have a strong light bouncing on the green stuff behind, and it contaminates the semi-transparent and hair. Exactly how we see on the background. The background is there. All the pixels are there. If you want to make it even more visible, if the supervisor wants it, that's fine. You can tweak this guy and have it less or more. It's up to you. I have here, and then that's an over, and then I have a small light wrap. It's a touch. Will be more visible on semi-transparent areas. That's a touch. I think this should be there every time, even if it's just a little bit, it should be there. Okay, so this is the second video on this. As you see, it's very simple. I want to take the time to also show you this is also useful for juniors to learn how to do this stuff. It's very useful, but also how to behave themselves in a studio, how to show, like, they are focused and how to set a path for success and to grow, to have respect from your peers and stuff like that. So on top of knowing how to do this stuff and exercising on simple shots like this, and then be able to do these on more complex shots, you need to also be organized. And not only on your script, which this is not exactly the case. When you do tutorials live, stuff tends to be messy, and you then will have to spend some time and clean this up, make more space. Stuff don't need to be close like this, so you can have the space that you want and keep this organized. But on top of this, your interpersonal relations are very important. And our interpersonal relations with supervisor, leads, and seniors will dictate how they perceive us. And if you have a good technique on how to do stuff, but for some reason you forget your notes, I don't know, are not meeting your targets, doesn't matter, because they want stuff to be done, but they have to. Otherwise, they'll have to pick your shot from yourself, take your shot and finish themselves, and they already have a lot of stuff to do. This is not going to help. One of the things that I often recommend to compers is to have a note system, and you will have your notes on F-Track or Shotgun or whatever reviewing software your company uses. But I find it easier to work with lists, maybe because I'm old, who knows? But I find lists to be very easy to keep track on. So what I use is Google. This is, if you go to your email, this is my email. I'm gonna blur the screen. This is my personal one, so you'll not see all the meetings and stuff here. But anyways, if you go to this little window here, see, keep, and this is something inside of Google. If you push this guy out, and this is Google Keep. This is inside of Google. It's free. It syncs between your phone or tablet or computer or whatever. You can have your overtimes here you worked on the day 26, you work 4 hours overtime. You can have your stuff saved here, or holidays or whatever, and you can ping the note, so it's forever on the top. You can have your targets for the week. Do QC on this shot, work on the notes on this shot, notes, and integrate matte paint here. Do another QC here. If you have a specific node that client gave you, you can read what's there on After Effects, and you can paste it here or write with your own word here. Remove background CG focus, something like this. And I find this very, very useful because you can leave this on a second monitor. Easy Windows. Wait, coming back. Yes, you can leave this on your second monitor. If you have a second monitor, or you can leave this behind Nuke, and you can quickly go back to it. And you can write stuff here, blah, 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 what you need to do, what you did. And when it's done, you can just, what I do is I do five indentation, done. And then if you finish this stuff, you just and then you go. So by doing this, you don't have to go back to After Effects, go back to a shot, and then you see your notes, and then you go to the other shot. You have to click, maybe the shot is on a different season, so it's not even on the same project, or not even on the same sequence. You have to go find the shot, and then okay, and then you can see the note. So here you can see like a list, which is more like quick to see, and you can also delete stuff when you're done. I did this one. That's it. It will update to the numbers here by itself. As I said, it syncs to your phone, so even after work, when you're watching TV or doing something, suddenly you have an idea how to finish something that you had stuck. You can open your phone, make a couple notes, it will appear here. You'll be synced. So I think this is amazing too. You can paint stuff and whatever you want. You can save here on the one I have on the studio, because we have our Google accounts for the work. I have a lot of notes like this. Stuff that I use a lot, expressions that I use a lot for noises. Or you can have an expression here that you use this specific noise for a shot. You can put here shot for this shot, and then you know that this is the noise you use for this shot. So you can, if this was let's have this noise, but how strong on the next shot. Divide this guy by 4, and that's it. So it's a very useful thing. It's free, and it really, really helps. And it's good to see when a junior is on top of the notes. It's not like feeling confused and having Nuke open several tabs of After Effects. It can be confusing. So this is a tip for you guys to keep stuff organized. It's really, really good. So yeah. And that's it for the second video on the King session, the King series. I'm gonna do, I think the next one, let me find the footage. There is one footage here, very interesting. Maybe this one, which is some insane green contamination. Oh, see, they have a lot of footage on this website. It's very, very cool. Oh, so this is the continuation of the same stuff. See, pretty useful stuff. You can try some screen replacements, object replacement. So I was thinking about this one. It's a long movement, a lot of contamination, and the weapon goes on top of the green screen on the top. See, it leaves the green screen area. There's a lot of tracker marks everywhere. But this one can be an interesting exercise for the second. Let's see. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. And if you have any question or any doubt or any suggestion, just send a message on YouTube. Usually I respond quite quickly. So yeah, that's it. And I hope you guys like the tip. And I will try to always have a nice tip for juniors at the end of this series. I noticed that people are interested in knowing, from the point of view of other people, other guys, how they perceive a good junior or not. Organization skills is one of the most underrated, I would say. So, thank you, and see you in the next one.